At some point, we will see a correction on Wall Street. That's almost certain. Haven't really seen it yet. It's been a pretty decent year. We had some time in April when the markets went down after Liberation Day or whatever he called it, the president. But since that time, it's been pretty strong. Joining me is Nick Hopwood from Peak Wealth Management. He's the president and founder of Peak Wealth. Nick, good morning.
Good morning, Steve.
No lazy money out there today. Let's talk about it. An AI sell-off last week. Look, investors are looking at the expense of these data centers, and they're looking at the companies, and they're saying, does this make sense? All this money you're spending, some investors don't seem to think it makes sense, right?
Right. Well, what's interesting is that, GDP growth is, 2.5% right now, which is not great, but it's fine. Well, guess what? AI is about 1% of that 2% growth. So nearly half of the economic growth that we're seeing right now is coming from AI. There's no doubt that AI is the future, but what we want to be careful of is capital misallocation. And the reason I say capital misallocation, because if we go back to prior cycles, like think about the railroad boom and the internet boom, obviously the railroad was here to stay, same as the internet and same as AI. But a lot of people lost a lot of money chasing the investments along the way. A lot of people don't realize what happened with the railroad bust, but obviously we can remember the internet bust. So just be careful with the AI investments.
All right. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, my mother taught me, so we'll keep that in mind. I saw you posted something interesting on Twitter yesterday. Your son had a Venmo account from his summer job, had thousands of dollars in there. You told him, don't do that. Then he got hacked. Tell us the story, Nick.
Yeah, Steve, coincidentally, I found out on Friday that he kept all of his lawn mowing money in the Venmo account. And for those of you who are not familiar, Venmo is intended to be a peer-to-peer payment system, not necessarily a bank account. And so his debit card tied to the Venmo account got hacked. And as a result, hundreds of dollars was stolen. We're still fighting for that money. But the $9,000 balance that he had was frozen. And that was where, as a dad, I went to bat for him. And so, you end up calling India, and they're very nice, but they just can't help. Luckily, we found a backdoor way to get the money out. And so here's my public service announcement. Do not keep a Venmo balance. When someone sends you money on Venmo, send it to your bank. That's it.
Just pass through and be done with it. Don't let it sit there. You got roasted a little bit on Twitter for your kid getting hacked for $9,000.
Yeah, apparently I'm a bad dad. And what kind of CFP would allow his kid to keep a Venmo balance? That sort of thing.
All right, so don't keep your money in Venmo, but do put your money into Trump accounts. Shifting gears to that, we talked about it last week, but the numbers are remarkable. You can put in $10, $25 a week, and over time, it becomes something really significant, doesn't it?
Yeah, real quick, if you do $5,000 a year, that's $90,000 for 18 years. It could grow to be over $7 million at age 65. And a lot of you, you might be eye rolling, but the math is the math. But let's also think about what we talked about last week. People can't retire because they have student loans. We have housing affordability issues. We have the lowest confidence level heading into retirement in 10 years. For those of you that have the means, fund a Trump account for your child, for your grandchild, and maybe they won't have these type of issues that other Americans are facing.
Yeah, good idea. I think that student loans are a scam, by the way, but it's a conversation for a different day. But please be careful with student loans. People tell us they're counting on consulting in retirement. What does that mean?
Well, Steve, if you come to me for retirement planning, oftentimes you'll say, hey, I want to retire at 65 or 62 or maybe 59 and a half. And we might model out that retirement plan, and it doesn't look so nice with the early retirement date. And then most people will say, well, I can do some consulting in retirement from 62 to 65. How does that look? And guess what? It helps a lot. But the problem is, many people have the best intentions of doing this work in semi-retirement, And I'm not talking about the Walmart greeter here. I'm talking about a real consulting gig, right? Where you can make, thousands of dollars to supplement your retirement income. And maybe it's low stress, maybe it's only a couple days a week. But oftentimes these are based on false hopes, false expectations, because about 60% of the people who plan on getting these jobs, they never come through to fruition.
So they're left with nothing, and they're short on retirement. So you got a plan. You got to have a plan. And so what I suggest to anybody who's watching today, make sure you put together a plan and have somebody else look at it. A second opinion is always a great idea, isn't it, Nick?
Absolutely. Second opinion, you're going to do that for your medical problem. Let's do it for your financial questions too.
Yeah. So you offer a free analysis of Social Security, for example. Should you take a Social Security at 62, 65, 70? So many variables there, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the biggest questions that we get. And so that's why we keep offering the QR code, as you say here, because with Social Security, it's one of the biggest decisions that you'll make with respect to retirement.
Yeah. You can find out more by clicking the QR code with my friend Nick. Don't keep your money in a Venmo account. He'll tell you that. But make sure you look at your assets and how your retirement games out. He'll game it for you. Nick, always good to see you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Steve.
All right, greatly appreciate it. PeakWM.com. By the way, if you want to just go ahead and get online and check it out, PeakWM.com. And you can find out more with Nick. And he's a great guy to have a second opinion with. He's been doing it for years and very successfully. All right, we're going to take a break. Remember, you can email me. What are your questions about what's going on in the world? Go to SteveGruber.com. Send me an email. I read them all. I don't respond to all of them, a few of them. Sometimes they make me laugh. Sometimes they irritate me a little bit. That's all right. I read them all anyway. Good to see you this morning on Daybreak. Back after this.